Due to the increasing global waste management crisis, acts to prevent this from worsening are needed now more than ever. Band-aid solutions are not enough. Long-term and sustainable waste management solutions are called for and the topmost priority when dealing with this problem, such as the importance of recycling. Here, we explain the system of recycling to get an understanding of how this greatly impacts the conservation of the environment. We then ask the questions, why is there a need to conserve the environment? And why is recycling that important? Recycling is one of the most notable solutions to this ongoing problem for this very reason. It converts used materials to new products. In doing so, the need for new resources will be lessened, resulting in the preservation of raw materials and the protection of natural habitats. When there is less need for these resources, the excessive collection for this decreases. Then, what happens when there is unrecycled waste? You may have answered that raw materials will be extracted yet again from the earth, and that is precisely right. We must remember that these raw materials are finite as time goes by without being able to effectively minimize the consumption of these resources. Sooner or later, we will not be able to sustain our lives with them. We first start off by stating that the recycling system is a non-living system where consumers, haulers, sorters, repositors, and end markets are made up of people who are living organisms. But their interactions that connect the elements in the system are not biological in nature. The function of the system, such as separating, collecting, and sorting, are not driven by biological processes, as materials that are subject to this are abiotic. To understand the recycling system further, here is a diagram of the parts and processes involved. We have identified 8 parts, namely retailers, consumers, recyclables, non-recyclables, haulers, sorters, repositors, and end-use markets. From this, we can see the flow and interrelation of certain components. The process would begin with the retailers that distribute goods for human consumption. Humans then consume the product and throw out their waste. This waste will then be segregated into 2 categories, recyclables and non-recyclables. While recyclables and non-recyclables are both collected by the haulers, they can also be sent directly to their destinations. The recyclables can be sent straight to the repositors to be recycled, while non-recyclables to the landfill or wasteland to be disposed of. Sorters are recycling centers that receive both recyclables and non-recyclables. They sort out these two depending on their quality and the respective manufacturer's demand. Materials that failed or non-recyclables are sent to the landfill, while those that passed are sent to the repositors. The repositors consist of manufacturers such as paper and aluminum mills that receive or purchase the recyclables from the sorters, which are processed to make into usable forms for repurposing. These materials are then sent to the end markets. The end markets finalize these processed recyclables, which are successfully made into new products that are sent to retailers. The retailers are in charge of selling these recycled products to the markets for consumption. As we get to learn more about recycling, we can understand its importance in sustainable waste management. The recycling system may be simple at first glance, and yes, it is at some point, but to be able to efficiently recycle on a daily basis and a massive scale productivity, it is composed of different and complex processes. As seen, the system is composed of various processes that perform different duties but are as equally important as each other. With the continuous consumption of humans and the dire situation of depleting resources, calls for urgent actions and effective systems, such as the recycling system, are in place. Policies partnered with awareness of consumers to transition to eco-friendly products directly affects the recycling system. First, it considerably lessens the amount of plastics that need to be recycled. Second, it maximizes the effectiveness of the system as markets become more accepting of the recycled products. To be able to further elaborate its effect, let us take plastics for example. According to WWF Australia, 3 million tons of plastic are produced annually in Australia alone. Considering its longevity, plastics are the number 1 material polluting our landfills and oceans. By recycling, we decrease the amount of plastics released in the market and marine environment while providing alternatives for human consumption. As more materials are produced that need to be recycled, it only further increases the importance of the recycling system. It is even possible to innovate it in order to improve its efficiency over time. Through the combined efforts of the different components of the recycling system, the goal of a greener future is possible.